Hello ladies and gentlemen, you know me, it's that movie guy Zach. Today I'm here to review the newest superhero film to hit theaters, which is Captain Marvel. Oh, sorry, not that one. Apparently his name is Shazam now. I am of course talking about this Captain Marvel. No, Carol Danvers. Thank you. The plot of Captain Marvel revolves around Carol Danvers, an ex-US Air Force pilot and Kree warrior, as she gets caught in the middle of a war between the Kree and the Skrulls. She also tries to find out her past and who she is, and also discovers that she might be more powerful than she believed herself to be. The best thing about Captain Marvel are the special effects. This film has impressive CGI and set designs, but the best effects are the makeup for the Skrulls and the de-aging for Sam Jackson and Clark Gregg. I have to give major props for everyone who worked on this film because they did a fantastic job. At first I thought the de-aging for Sam Jackson and Clark Gregg would be a distraction, but after seeing this film, I didn't even notice after a few scenes. It's amazing that there's a film out there that didn't have distracting de-aging effects, unlike some other films I've seen. Rogue One. Anyway, truthfully I don't think they needed to de-age Sam Jackson for this film, because that man hasn't aged in years. If there's anything else I liked about this film, it's that the performances from Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn are terrific, and you can tell they had a lot of fun making this movie. The musical score is actually pretty decent, the first act is pretty solid, and the character Jonesy. I mean Goose. Yeah, the cat is one of the best things about the movie, and is honestly the best character in the film. Other than that, Captain Marvel is a pretty lackluster movie, and I will tell you why. One of my biggest problems with Captain Marvel is its style, or lack thereof. This is a bland and dull movie that feels very cookie-cutter and boring, which is a surprise considering that a lot of MCU films have unique styles and feel different from each other. After seeing Taika Waititi helm Thor Ragnarok and make that film an epic and colorful sci-fi extravaganza, James Gunn's work on Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Russo's more intense and gritty style with The Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Infinity War, I've come to expect every MCU film to have its own personality, and this film doesn't at all. Even some of the weaker films in the MCU, like Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor the Dark World, and Iron Man 2, at least have their own style that makes them stand out from the rest. It's just a hollow and bland-looking film from start to finish. The action scenes, aside from one, are also very forgettable and have no sense of urgency or awe to them. The pacing is not very good and the story is very messy. Sadly, my biggest problem with this film is with its main character and Brie Larson's performance. Brie Larson isn't terrible in this film, but her performance is very wooden and she's not given much interesting material to work with. I don't know whether or not it was bad direction, a bad screenplay, or Brie Larson herself, but I never really cared for her character and she's not given much depth. This film tries to show and tell her backstory, but I felt like it never really explored what makes her character the way she is. I never felt a sense of danger for her at all. I think Brie Larson is an incredibly talented actress, but none of her talent is showcased to its full potential in this film. Overall, Captain Marvel isn't terrible or awful, but it's just a dull and forgettable film. I feel like it had potential to be great, but sadly it fell flat. Honestly, this film feels like it belongs in Phase 1 of the MCU, and it lacks its own voice to stand out from the rest. It's not the worst film in the MCU, trust me, there are much worse, but it is one of the weakest films that come out of it, and I think it has the weakest hero out of any of the films. Hopefully, the Russo brothers can redeem this character in Avengers Endgame, because they did such great jobs of redeeming Thor and Spider-Man and making them awesome characters, and making them much better than they were in their own movies. By the way, Marvel, can we get the Russo brothers to write and direct a Spider-Man movie? I'd really appreciate it as a huge fan of the character. I am giving Captain Marvel a C-.